Hello, YouTube. So I'm here after like a month and a half of not making a video. Actually, I think it was 2 months. But I didn't make a video in forever, and I'm here making a video because it's late at night and I should be writing my term paper, but I'm not. Because this video deserved to be responded to. So, this is a video response to, hang on, what was this guy's name? Cordy3, and his video's name is All This For Nothing? Why Are We Here? And it's a video response to another video, and it's kind of not a debate because it's random people spewing their ideas and nobody's actually responding to each other, but it's a series of videos that's going on, and it's of course spawned off TJ's Amazing Atheists video. So anyway, here we go. His video is in the format of text, and I'll probably have the link over there. I don't know which way to point. I don't know, it's one way. In the sidebar, there's going to be the link to the video just in case this doesn't get approved like my last one. But yeah, anyway, his video is in the form of text, and it shows up and has a question that, atheist asks, or he thinks that atheists ask, and then he attempts to debunk it. And I use the word attempt very loosely because I don't know if he actually attempted to do anything, put any effort into this, because it's not very good. But anyway, he asked like 5-ish questions, and every one of them the answer he gives sucks, so I'm going to go through that. Alright, so the first one, it says, the question has like the Q and the A, and the Q is, who created God? Which of course is a pretty standard atheist argument, and he says, this is directly his answer, he says, answer, of course, God is not created, he has no beginning or end, he is the creator of time itself. The earth universe is like an atom in the Amazon compared to the knowledge and mercy and power of God. That's your first non-answer. That's not an answer at all. It's okay. So, the Christian argument, and of course I don't know exactly your viewpoints, so you can accuse me of a straw man if you feel like, but the Christian argument, which I'm assuming is your argument, states that there is eternal complexity, and that eternal complexity is in the shape of God. God is always been, and he always will be, and he is timeless, and that is the Christian argument. And the atheist argument is that the universe is eternally complex. It has always, or the multiverse, not necessarily the universe, but the multiverse, something. there is eternal complexity in existence. It has always been, and it will always be. And so the Christian comes along and says, this is you, Cordy. You come along and you say, okay, well, all this is so complex. How can this just happen? I mean, there has to be a beginning to something. My cell phone, I mean, it's so complex. Obviously, somebody made it. So who created the cell phone? We did. And, who created humanity? Well, obviously, there has to be something that created humanity because we couldn't just happen. This is a Christian argument. We couldn't just happen. So there has to be a God that created humanity. I don't know why I'm motioning with my cell phone. There has to be a God that created humanity because life in its complexity requires a creator. And then you say, and that creator is God. And the atheist comes along and says, well, wait a minute. You say that complexity and life requires a creator, so who created your God? And you give a bullshit answer like this. God is not created. So complexity only requires creation sometimes. Complexity only requires creation when you feel like it. Hypocrisy. Your argument fails. Next. Okay, here's another one. So question number 2. If God can do anything, can he make a rock so large that even he cannot move it? And your answer is, this question is applying the laws of gravity to God, laws which God himself created. God is never subject to the laws of creation because he is both the creator and the lawgiver. And, I mean, this one is a really not answer. If the last one was a non-answer, this one is just epic proportions of the same thing. You completely sidestepped the question. I mean, of course, okay, you answered the wording of the question, but the spirit of the question. I guess it could be reworded more accurately as, if God can do anything, can he create a puzzle that he is incapable of completing? And obviously you didn't answer that. You completely sidestepped the question. But your answer would have to be either yes or no. And if you say yes, God can create a puzzle that he's incapable of completing, well, then obviously God's not omnipotent, because he can't complete the puzzle that he just made. And if you say no, well, then obviously God's not omnipotent because he can't create this amazing puzzle. So, I don't even know why you bothered trying to answer that one. That was just completely a waste of your time and my time. Everybody's time. You watched this. 230 views. You just wasted 230 people's lives. Thanks, asshole. All right. Question number 3. Why does God need us to worship him? And your answer was, the word need is something ascribed to humans, plants, and animals. God does not need anything. He created us out of his desire and his incomprehensible and a will incomprehensible to us. He is the self-sufficient, the perfect. We need God. He is the self-sufficient. I didn't catch that before. It's another thing you fail at, writing properly. He desires it. It's just what you're saying. He didn't need us. He desires us. He desires us to be in this universe. He desires us to be subject to adversity. He created a universe of adversity. This is the creationist argument. He created a universe of adversity for his own amusement because he desired to be worshipped. He created this universe where he knew that people would be sent to hell. He knew that people would fail. He knew before he even created these people that he was creating them in such a way that they would fail and he would have to send them to hell. And he did it anyway because it amused him, because he desired it. It's fucking sadistic. All right, question number 4. The question is, I never asked to be created, so why can't I just be a good person? That's the atheist question. And your answer is, you must worship your creator in the way that he commands, not the way you desire. If you owned a factory, would you not send the workers instructions or let them wander aimlessly? And I mean, really, I think these answers just keep getting progressively worse as your numbering gets higher. I could make an entire video on why this argument on this one question fails so badly, but I don't feel like it because I really have to write that term paper. So, your factory analogy just epically fails. You say, if you own a factory, would you not send the workers instructions or let them wander aimlessly? I didn't create the workers and force them to be in the factory. I'm not a fascist. I'm not a fascist dictator who said you work in this factory, or I'll blow your brains out. I mean, well, unless I am, in which case that would work. But now you're comparing your God to a fascist dictator. But it's a completely different thing. The workers in my factory have the right to leave anytime they want. The workers in my factory have the right to unionize and dictate their terms to me. So yeah, this one is the worst of them all so far. All right, question number 5. Why doesn't God just show us a direct sign instructing us what to do? It seems like a pretty straightforward question to me. Answer: Did your professor give you the Sorry. Did your professor give you the answers to your last test before you handed it in? God gave us intellect to produce reason and reflect on our way. God gave us intellect to produce reason and reflect on our why we were created. Dude, go back to English class, really. Do we want so much intervention in this life that if we were to fall off our chairs, God would catch us? Life is the greatest design test we will ever take. God will grade us. Again, epic fail. That was really not epic the way I just said that. Yeah, actually I would. I mean, if I'm falling off a ladder and I'm about to break my neck, I would appreciate it if God would catch me. I mean, more than doubly, if you're right and hell exists, and I'm just failing epically as an atheist, and, God's just going to let me fail. I would appreciate it if God would do something that would save me so I don't have to burn in hell for all of eternity. And the first part of your answer, did your professor give you the answers? Yeah, he did. It's called class. You go into class and you sit and you hear him preach about what the answers to the test are going to be. And then you study it, you go home and you study it, and then you come back and you take the test later. And, I mean, if you studied hard and if you remembered what he was talking about, if you remembered the answers that he gave you, then you do well on the test and you don't fail. I mean, this is a pretty simple, straightforward thing. So, that's the end of your video. Well, it's not the end of your video, it's the end of my video. Your video goes on to say Jesus loves, or not Jesus, Allah loves you, and he made Jesus because Jesus did miracles and spoke from the cradle and created birds from clay and cured the sick and gave sight to the blind, rather. Bring dead men back, whatever. Join us, we're a cult. That's my synopsis of the end of your video. So there's my video. That's probably pretty suckish, but it's about how suckish your video is. And maybe you'll accept me. Maybe somebody will accept when I try to do a video response. Who knows? Thanks for listening to me babble.